Hey guys, so today I'm here with my review of the HP Veer 4G for AT&T. I've been using this phone for the past few days now, so let me give you my full review. The first thing that will jump out at you is the size of the phone. With a 2.6-inch display and a slide-out physical keyboard, the Veer is absolutely tiny, even compared to phones like the iPhone. I'll get into how this affects usability a bit later on, but suffice to say that the 2.6-inch screen is nice and bright and has a very reasonable resolution of 320 by 400 pixels. Phone calls on the Veer are surprisingly good thanks to its dual microphones. The speaker is also surprisingly decent, with good volume without any distortion when laid down on a flat surface. The 4G part of the phone comes courtesy of the AT&T HSPA Plus network. Just like the Inspired 4G I recently reviewed, the Veer gets decent if not amazing speeds. I typically found somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 megabits per second down, and usually less than 1 megabit per second up, assuming you have a good connection. Certainly not bad, but this is nowhere near the speed you'll find on Verizon's 4G LTE network. I'll say it right now, I love webOS. The multitasking is second to none, and the gesture area on the Veer allows you to control the phone effortlessly. Currently on its 2.1.2 release as of this review, webOS screams on the Veer. Don't let the small size fool you, this is a very fast little phone. With an 800MHz Snapdragon processor and 512MB of RAM, it chews up and spits out multitasking as many apps as you like. When you get into the apps, however, the Veer becomes a bit of a mixed bag. It comes pre-installed with quite a few apps, such as a mail client, contacts app, a YouTube player, Google Maps, and Amazon MP3. Most all of these are just fine, however where the real issues lie is in the app catalog. The interface is decent, but there are some fairly major holes in the selection, including an official Twitter app, Netflix, Skype, and many other major apps that are unavailable. To make matters worse, not all apps are available for the Veer if they were made for the larger display on the Pre. Things get much better in the browser. While you are of course constrained by the small display, you'll find that the browser is quite fast and has some of the smoothest zooming and scrolling I've ever seen. You'll also find support for Adobe Flash 10.1 for viewing Flash content, which runs decently like it does on most mobile devices but is less than perfect. The camera is a sore spot. While it has a 5-megapixel sensor, it lacks both autofocus and a flash, resulting in mediocre images in most situations. On top of that, I ran into a bug that crashed the camera app and restarted the phone after taking a few pictures. The story doesn't get much better as the VGA video is fairly awful as well. The size of the phone limits how big the keyboard can be, but overall I was impressed. The sliding mechanism seems to be very robust, and the keys had a nice tactile feel that had me up to a decent typing speed in just a few days of using the Veer. It also lights up subtly, making it great for typing even when you can't easily make out the tiny keys. The Veer has a proprietary magnetic charging and syncing port that's very similar to the MagSafe adapter on Apple laptops. It works well, connecting strongly. What isn't so great is the included 3.5mm headphone adapter that snaps onto the phone. While this too snaps on easily, it's tiny and almost certain to get lost in the first few days of owning the phone. It's a bit of a shame really, as the sound chip in the Veer actually sounds quite good once you hook headphones up. Battery life on the Veer is decent. In my testing, I found that I was able to get through a day of moderate usage before the phone died. Your mileage will certainly vary, but you will almost certainly need to plug the Veer in every night. The Veer is a bit of a hard phone to sum up. On one hand, you have a poor camera, a lackluster app store, and no way to expand the roughly 6GB of usable onboard storage. But on the other hand, you have a stellar OS, an absolutely speedy experience, and excellent build quality. What it boils down to is, are you interested in a small phone? If so, the Veer is a great choice and will serve you well. If size isn't as big of a deal to you though, I would recommend taking a look at the Pre 3, which should be available in the coming months and has all the same features of the Veer but in a larger package. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested in purchasing or learning more about the Veer, hit up the link in the description for up-to-date pricing information.